Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of JD's NASCAR and Sports Podcast. On this week's episode, we recap the race at Homestead, Miami, and the round of 8 of the NASCAR playoffs, and look forward to the last race of the round of 8 at Martinsville. As good as Homestead was, I think Martinsville will produce just as much drama, maybe even more. As you all know, if you watched the race, we had a lot of playoff drivers impacted with issues, pit road issues, issues on the track, etc. And if you know, well, you all do know if you have listened. I'm a huge Denny fan, and he had a huge issue that's going to plague him, I think, throughout this weekend, and might have ended his championship hopes, but we'll see. Never count him out. And never count Martin Truex Jr. out either, as he had issues as well, and we'll get into all those. But in my opinion, those are the two most shocking things that happened, was Martin Truex's engine blowing and Denny Hamlin's issue with the power steering going out of his car. So we'll get into those and discuss the implications of those happening and get into the race. Before we get into the race recap, though, I wanted to mention the Xfinity race and the truck race. Both were very good races. Homestead is a track that you put anything on it and it's going to deliver. And I think this is the first time this year, other than when I went, obviously, to watch Daniel Dye race at Bristol, that I've really tried to clear my schedule out to watch the full truck race. And it's just because Homestead delivers every single year, and this year was no different, as you had interesting calls, and the truck championship 4 is set. And I think that the championship race at Phoenix for the trucks is usually always pretty good. They arguably put on the best race at Phoenix out of all of them. So I'm excited to break down that stuff. And I just want to say, Sam Mayer, huge win for the Xfinity race, and Carson Hocevar, huge win for Truck Series, and they both punched their way into the championship 4 of each series. So congrats to those guys. And I want to also thank you all. I got through an app I use, I've got total impressions for this podcast, and I just looked at it, and I'm truly blown away. And to be honest with you, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. This is just so awesome to sit here and see how many people know what JD's NASCAR and Sports podcasts are and listen to it. It's just crazy to think about, and I want to thank all of you that have been here since day one, and all our new fans as well. I've completely started this from nothing. I just got an idea. I've had several health issues since late February, early March, and I was kind of just sitting around the house, not being able to do much. And I thought, well, I enjoy listening to all these podcasts about NASCAR and about other sports, and why can't I do that? I love breaking stuff down. I love dissecting what happens, and I love breaking stuff down. And, I got the crazy idea, hey, I'm going to start one. And it's been a awesome road. I've met several new people, talked to several new people that through this, and I hope it just continues to grow. And, I think I've put all my ducks in a row, if you will. I think that I've set it up to continue to grow, but will it? I really hope so, and I really appreciate everyone. I'm not usually sappy on here, but that's I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And at the same time, as the impressions grow, the listenership grows, we're coming up on the off season of NASCAR with just 2 races left, and my question goes to you all. What should we do during the off season. I've thought about maybe going back and looking at some of the greatest races of all time and breaking those down and revisiting, talking about those. I've thought about breaking down other sports. I'm a huge Kentucky football and basketball fan. Football is already well into full swing, and basketball's starting. I've thought all kinds of different ideas, but I know this fan base of this podcast is mostly NASCAR people, and so I basically want to cater to you all, and you all just let me know what you think. I think the classic races would be a huge success, to be honest with you, because NASCAR was huge. I mean, huge in the early 2000s and the 90s. Going back and rewatching some of those races and breaking those down, I think would be an awesome idea. But I'm going to leave it in the hands of the fans. So you all let me know if there's another idea I'm not thinking about as well. You all let me know about that as well, and we will get into the Homestead race breakdown. The race recap, we're just going to go by and break down a little bit of what happened. The race at Homestead overall, pretty awesome. Makes me miss that the championship finale is not there any longer, as they had the championship there for several years when this playoff format first started, and I think they definitely need to bring that back. But as you all know, next year it will be back in Phoenix. But man, I hate that they only go here once a year, just because it provides such great racing. Multiple grooves. You can run the low or high line right up next to the fence. As you all know, that's mainly why Kyle Larson is so good here. But, just an awesome race. Exactly what you would want for a playoff race is you had comers and goers all day long. And it was just really awesome. So, to begin, at the end of stage one, Ricky Stenhouse spins once again. And, man, they seem like they had a really good, solid start to the beginning of the year, but these playoffs have just been rough for them. Seems like they're in an incident about every week, and I hate it for those guys, as they started off their year by winning the Daytona 500, and it just seems like that they haven't been the same as they were in the beginning of the year. So I hate to see that for Ricky. After he seems like he barely tapped the wall and broke the toe link, and then when he spun, his tires went flat, and he just never was a factor after that. So, hated that for him. Kyle Larson wins the first stage. I just touched on how good he was at Homestead, as he was the overwhelming favorite coming into this race. And, he dominated definitely the first stage and some of stage two as well, but Ryan Blaney had a really good long-run car, and so it was basically a battle between Blaney and Larson for the longest time, but things changed. So we'll get into that. But as Kyle Larson was trying to lap Daniel Suarez, basically used up all he had, I think. He was trying to put Suarez a lap down. Kyle Larson was leading at the time, trying to win the second stage of the race, and Suarez was a hard pass, to say the least. That was something pretty wild. Suarez was just trying to stay on the lead lap, but Larson used up all his stuff. He was getting raced really hard and didn't really manage his tires all that well, it didn't seem like. And Ryan Blaney was able to get past Larson. And I think Larson, he after that second stage, he was in second. Blaney was outrunning him. And then the huge thing, that the most memorable part about this race probably, Kyle Larson trying to chase down Ryan Blaney hits the tire barriers, or not the tire barriers, I'm sorry, the pit road barriers coming into pit road. Looks like that Larson just got in way too deep. I know the broadcast was saying Blaney slowed early. I don't necessarily agree with that. As you look on the thing that they showed Blaney being right at 45 miles per hour as he was entering. So I think Larson just sent it in too deep and ended up ending his day. Luckily, didn't damage Ryan Blaney's car. He was worried about that in the interview. But I think that would have been a really good battle between Blaney and Larson for the win if that wouldn't have happened. But Larson hits the barriers and ends his day. as he's already locked in the championship 4. So not a very. I mean, of course, Larson wanted to win, but did not hurt him that he finished last. So, really strange, to be honest. You don't really see Larson make these kind of mistakes very often, but I don't think there's anything. I don't think this impacts his championship in any way. So, I think Larson will be fine going into Phoenix. We'll see how he does at Martinsville this week, and I think Blaney was good at Homestead. He was my surprise championship 4 pick. Now, for obvious reasons, I hope that's incorrect, because if he gets in, Denny is liable to not get in. But I think that, Blaney has showed something in these playoffs. And, he won at Talladega. He's been quick almost everywhere else. And Martinsville is one of his better tracks. So I would watch out for that 12 car this week, and I think that he will definitely be a factor. Then we have a big incident with the 42 and the 1, and then J.J. Yaley kind of gets the back end of it, ends up hitting pretty hard into the inside wall. I don't know if the 42 washed up the track or if Ross took it 3 wide and caused it. I mean, it was kind of a confusing replay, so I'm not going to really comment on whose fault it was because I'm not 100% sure. But just a big hit for J.J. Yaley. I'm glad he was all right. And the 42 and the 1 continued on. Actually, I don't know if the 42 did or not, actually. Now that I think about it, I know Ross did. Ross continued on, but the 42 might have been done for the day after that. Then, obviously, the worst part of my race. Denny Hamlin was battling with Ryan Blaney, gets around him. Pretty sure he was running second or third, and just has the steering wheel come straight out of his hands and slams into the wall. Chris Gabehart, the crew chief of the 11, has diagnosed it as something to do with the power steering. They lost all power steering and ended up just ending his day. You saw Chris comforting Denny. As, Denny said all playoff long he thinks this is their year, and I really believe that too, to be honest with you. He's ran so well in the playoffs. He's ran so well this year, just in general. They're in contention almost every single week. So, as a Denny fan, you're kind of bummed to see this, and I'm sure the NASCAR world's rejoicing because there's not many of us. But can Denny go win this week at Martinsville? Yes, he can. I mean, if there's anybody that can do it, it's him. He went there last year and had a great day until he got hell-meloned. But the thing that worries me is the same thing that caught him last year, and that's, can he keep control of the race? If he goes and qualifies well, runs up front like he did last year, can he keep control? And that means, can the pit crew deliver when they need to? Can they keep him up front and in the lead? We'll see if that happens. Last year, lost several spots on pit road at the end of stage 2. Was never able to really recover, and then he gets hell-meloned and knocks him out. So that'll be something interesting to watch. And I think the 19 crew's in the same spot. If Martin runs up front all day long and qualifies well, can they keep him up front? And we'll see about that. I think that, it always somehow comes down to the last lap, whether someone goes home or advances. So it'll be very interesting to see if that happens again. And Martinsville in the next gen is kind of meh. But, there's always interesting storylines to go on with it, especially this race. So I think that we're due for some drama, and I think it'll be awesome. So after Denny has his issues, Martin Truex Jr. blows his motor on the same lap and takes it to the garage. So 2 Joe Gibbs cars done in the matter of a lap. That was really bad, but Joe Gibbs, the team, recovered as Christopher Bell wins. And, this guy early in the race was fighting to not go a lap down. And whatever adjustments Adam Stevens made to that 20 car really worked, as Bell wins his way into the championship 4 for the second year in a row. And this guy just gets it, man. He is clutch. When it's time to win, he goes and gets it done. He did it twice last year in these playoffs. and has locked his way back into the championship 4. And I'll tell you all, he can go win the thing. He can go win at Phoenix, and it wouldn't shock me a bit, to be honest with you. So glad for Seabell. He's a super nice guy, a heck of a race car driver too, and I think he's due. So congrats to the 20 team as they make the championship 4. And your 4 out right now are Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Chris Buescher. Tyler Reddick sits at -10. Denny and Martin sit at -17. And Chris Buescher is definitely in a must-win situation going into Martinsville. So you have William Byron locked in. You have Christopher Bell locked in to the champion. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Kyle Larson locked in. And William Byron is not locked in yet, but you can feel pretty good about William Byron. He's plus 33. And just start the race. Stay out of trouble. I think Willie B will be in good shape. And then you have Ryan Blaney plus 10 on the cut line. So, Larson, Bell, Blaney, and Byron right now would be your championship 4, but there's still one more race left. So we'll see if that changes. And, will it change? I think so, to be honest with you. That's like I said earlier, there's always drama at Martinsville. I think it changes. And obviously the one changing would be Blaney. So I don't think William Byron could be knocked out. I could be totally wrong, but I think he's in such a good points position with all his points that I think he's pretty safe. I would feel good as a William Byron fan going into Martinsville. So now it's time to get into our predictions. And the team to beat this week, I got to go with Joe Gibbs Racing. Just because Christopher Bell won here last year, Denny's good here, and Martin is. And 2 of the 3 guys are in a must-win. So I think those guys are going to run up front. And will they win? I'm not sure. I still haven't decided on my pick to win yet, but I think those guys will be up front and run well as it's time. I mean, they have to run well if they want a chance to go to Phoenix and run for a championship. So, team to beat, Joe Gibbs Racing. I'm actually going to pick the Xfinity winner also, as well as the Cup winner. I'm going to go a little bit off the grid here for the Xfinity, as this guy's not really known as a short track racer. But, I think that he's going to shock some people and win this weekend. I think it's going to be Austin Hill. He's a long shot, but I think he wins his way into the championship 4. To be honest with you. And I think the 21 team has done a good job this year. The playoffs hasn't been as good as they would like them to be. But I like Austin Hill and that 21 team to go to victory lane for the Xfinity race. And now for the Cup race. This is the most torn I've been on a pick other than a super speedway. And it's because, Denny Hamlin is the favorite this week. Trust me, I want him to win so bad because I want him to go race for a championship. But the pit crew concerns me. Being able to stay in control of a race has been the weakness of this team. And I hate to say that because I'm Denny's #1 fan, no lie. But it concerns me. And when you're making a prediction, you have to consider all that. And a guy that's in a must-win situation, that's in the playoffs, that has not ran well in the playoffs, is Martin Truex Jr. He's a guy that I looked at. But the Fords it's been super speedways in Martinsville. They have been super strong for whatever reason. And for that reason, I'm picking Ryan Blaney to win his way into the championship 4. If that prediction comes true, I'll be devastated as a Denny Hamlin fan. But I think Blaney gets it done, and I think he wins his way, and that will set up the championship 4 of Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Ryan Blaney. And I hope I'm wrong. I do hope I'm wrong. I hope Denny gets it done, and I hope that this prediction is wrong. It's the first time I think I've ever hoped that it's wrong, but I do. But that's just what I see playing out, and we'll see. We'll be back to break it all down once again next week. I don't think we'll have anything as memorable as the Hail Melon last year, but we'll see. At Martinsville, that move is now outlawed in NASCAR, but they are using it to promote this event heavily, as that's all I've seen this week. It brings back bad memories for me as an 11 fan. So if you all remember, Ross Chastain pulled a video game move, they said, as he rode the wall in 3 and 4 at Martinsville last year to clinch his spot into the championship 4, and knock Denny Hamlin out of the playoffs. So will something like that happen this year? I don't think anything can top that moment at Martinsville, to be honest with you. I think it'll be good racing. I think you'll see a lot of people throwing the bumpers, and I think Denny and Martin are going to be the two that do that the most. I think that, Denny did it last year because he was in a similar position. He was 5 points out going into this race last year. He's now minus 17, so going to have to run well all day like last year, but I think he can do it, and I hope that he can. So we'll see. And I think the bumper tag will be applied. I think we're going to see a lot of bump and runs and moving people up out of the groove to get the spot. So it's good short track racing. I think there'll be a lot of fans that watch this race and are very entertained. So we'll see. And until next week, this has been JD's NASCAR and Sports and Podcast. Oh, wait a second. I forgot the question of the week, didn't I? And I also forgot my thank yous. I'll go ahead and do that now. Thank you all for listening, and continue to like, share, rate, and review. Keep this thing growing. Like I said, it continues to grow, and I can't thank you all enough for that. So thank you all, and continue leaving me reviews. Reviews really help, especially on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And of course, if you could leave a 5-star review, I would definitely appreciate that. But let's get into a segment that I cannot believe I almost forgot, the question of the week this week. I can't believe I almost forgot this week's question of the week just because this is a good question. And you all honestly might not care about my answer to this, but I'm going to give it anyway. At least this person cares. So, and I don't even know if I have an answer yet, but here it is. It is, when Denny Hamlin retires, who is going to be your favorite NASCAR driver? And that's a hard one. I really had took a liking to Kyle Larson this year until him and Denny started beefing. I didn't really think that the beef was necessary. To be honest with you, I didn't think that, and I still don't think that Denny did anything wrong with their beef. Really like Noah Gragson, but of course, he's out this year. There's rumors that he will come back and drive that 10 car next year. I hope that is true for Noah. I really like Ty Gibbs. I think that he continues to be super good. And, with John Hunter coming in, I really like him in the Xfinity series. So there's several guys that I'm thinking about. And then, of course, you've got Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick who drive for Denny. I think that anybody that drives for Denny Hamlin, I'm going to like. So, I'm sorry to the listener that sent that in. I don't really have an answer yet. And I hope I don't have to have that answer for a couple years, as I think Denny is still in his prime and doing a great job. So, but, when that time comes, I'll definitely discuss it. You all will know. But those are some names I've kind of threw around. Those are the guys that I kind of really like. I'm starting to like Alex Bowman too as well, but, he's got to start producing results. The 48 guys, I really, really thought that was a team that would be better this year. I thought they were poised for a deep playoff run, and they might have had that had Alex not got hurt. I'm not sure. They were leading the points at one time this year, but we'll see. So those are some guys that I really enjoy watching and supporting. So C-Bell is another one. He's really starting to climb up my radar just because of how nice he is. Every interaction I've had with C-Bell, he has been he's honestly, I think we did one of the nicest guys questions at one of these podcast episodes, and I mentioned Christopher Bell because He's awesome. He's super nice. He'll take time to interact with the kids, sign whatever you've got, take pictures with you. He's super nice, and he's a great NASCAR driver, so Seabell's definitely up there as well. But, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, we'll have time to think about it, and I'll definitely let you all know. But that was an awesome question. Continue to send them in. And, until next week, where we will break down Martinsville and look forward to the final race of the season. I feel like this season's flew by as we are already at the end. So thank you all. And until next time, this has been JD's NASCAR and Sports Podcast.